Today's world, making a brand for everybody is a recipe for disaster. So if you mean something to somebody, that's better than being everything to everyone.
Hi everyone. We are on Growth Algorithm by Easy Insights, where we talk about real growth stories of businesses built on first principle. Today we are talking about a skincare brand, Just Herbs, which was built out of the city of Mohali, scaled phenomenally well, and got acquired by Marico last year. And I have with me Mr. Arush Chopra, who was the CEO and co-founder of Just Herbs. He had lived every chapter of this story, so it will be really good and insightful to talk to him and know about all his ups, downs, learnings, journey, and decode everything for our audience to learn. So welcome, Arush, and thank you so much for spending time with us.
It's a pleasure.
So Arush, the first question might sound repetitive, but I think this is very important for everybody to know that how did you actually start Just Herbs? And you were in Singapore doing something else. When you started Just Herbs back in 2014, I'm sure skincare as an industry and D2C wasn't something which it is today. Why you started Just Herbs?
My mom, actually. So my reason was not business, not to make money. My mother, she's a biochemist.
Okay.
She had 6 gold medals when she was studying here in Punjab University.
Oh wow.
And then she did something very different to what she had studied. So when my sister and I had grown up, she had started studying Ayurveda and marrying the scientific education with Ayurvedic wisdom, which was quite interesting because these two disciplines are normally, they don't look at each other eye to eye. The Ayurveda guys say the science guys don't know anything.
Correct.
The scientific guys call the Ayurveda guys quacks.
Correct.
Here was one person who was looking at the similarities and is explaining even to the child at home that, haldi wala doodh peena isliye acha hai because it's got curcumin in it, and, she could explain things scientifically, etc. That was always interesting. So I was always remotely interested in what she's doing. But whilst I was in Singapore, once it became very clear to us that now we want to move back to India to do something, the next question was, do what?
Correct.
And what mom was doing then came to my mind that, okay, when I was in college, I used to give mom's recipes to people, and they really loved it. And those people chiefly was Megha, who was my girlfriend at the time and who became my co-founder and my wife later.
Okay.
So that's how it started. Yeah. So we basically just decided to come back and build something out of it. There was no real deep thought given about what is this TAM, what is the SAM, and so on, whatever decks talk about today. There was nothing of that sort, right? There was no 2x2 that we made when we said we fit here. No, nothing of that sort. It was purely like, mom is doing something, let's see if we can go do something about it. It wasn't a business. All we had was the brand name, which we had kind of registered when I was in college. And mom called me once that, I'm doing something, I need to register a brand name because to sell even 1 unit of something, you need to comply with the law.
Correct.
So it was important for us to do. So wo tha, and some basic formulas, and then we built it up from there. Just 3 of us, and then we built it up.
Got it. And there are 2 primary questions out of what you have just said. One is that I know that you've been bootstrapped, at least for the initial 6-7 years. You were completely bootstrapped. What was the first principle thought that you're creating a skincare brand? How are you going to go about acquisitions? Because back then, performance marketing and the regular playbook which exists today, I'm sure it wasn't that foolproof at that point in time, right? And being bootstrapped with limited resources, I'm sure GT and everything initially is out of picture. So what was your thought around acquisition back then?
Questions like these are quite difficult to answer because normally these are all hindsight based questions.
Correct.
What happens is that, things like if you were back then what would you have done? This falls into that category. So always very difficult to answer, but I'll try. I'll try my best. So, recently I was speaking to somebody and he said that, I tried building this from first principles because I was a first time founder, almost being sort of apologetic about it because you're expected to be smart and all. But the point is, there's nothing wrong in building with first principles. In fact, that's the right way to build, right? And now when I look back, if I had to really extrapolate that and say something meaningful to you, is that I think at any given time there will be channels which are already there, like built for you. You'll have a choice. You want to plug your product into an existing channel, or there is a new channel that's coming up, and you want to kind of grow with that channel and put your product there. So for us, online on its own, the whole online selling channel was a new channel at that point.
Right.
People were questioning that whether anybody would even buy a face cream online. That's what I'm talking about. Right? Nykaa was a PowerPoint presentation in 2014.
Yeah, right.
There was no payment gateway. There was only one called CC Avenue. I don't know if I should say this publicly, but I had to wait a month and a half to even get an email from them. And then somebody called PayU came in, and then Razorpay came in. So the whole ecosystem didn't exist.
Right.
At that point, thinking that I will now sell online was a very contrarian thing to do. But now when we look back, it sounds like, it was rather obvious, When things have happened already, they seem very, very obvious. But when you're in the moment, you have to take a bet. So my bet was people telling me, "Arey, beauty is always, it's a very competitive business. There's such a crowd." And anybody listening and building in beauty, this would sound very familiar. That's what people would be saying right now also. Very crowded, very crowded. I think... then you have to think from first principles. So my first principles were that I don't have money to set up distribution. I don't have money to give credit to my, to the system, right? I don't have money to create pull through marketing through traditional ways. So what do? Let's sell online. And the biggest driver of even within online, let's me build on my own website. The biggest driver of that was that I was going to get paid on time, right?
Correct.
It's as simple as that. You have to get paid on time, and that's what decided the channel. Now, once you've decided the channel, and this is a time, Poonam, when most other beauty brands, a website was simply a catalog. It didn't even have a shopping cart. Right. So at that point, building a website in WooCommerce and, trying to buy traffic to that website. How do you do that? Through Facebook and, I'm not even saying Meta. It was Facebook, right? And there was no Instagram. It was just basically Facebook. Influencers used to be bloggers at that time. People, what you have today, Reels, and now AI is doing Reels. I'm talking about a time where actually people were writing, Indian Shringar or something like that, .blogspot.com.
Correct.
And writing a review about a lipstick or a face cream. And the customer journey would be that, okay, some people would read those blogs, and then the purchase would anyway happen offline.
Right.
We were hoping that now this entire purchase, not just we, I think everybody, the big guys, Facebook, Google, everybody wanted that to happen.
Right.
That this purchase should now happen on our infrastructure, on the internet. This purchase should happen, right? That's what, so the stars were getting aligned, you know what I'm saying? But today I can say I was very smart and I could see that this is going to happen. I can easily say that, but that's usually not the case. I think the learning from here was that you don't know when a channel will become very big. So when something is starting out, team up with them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Easy Insights will be very big tomorrow. Then you won't come and meet me. So this is the right time to team up with somebody when it comes to channels.
Correct. Right. And sticking to the first principle theme, somebody who hasn't read an MBA or a management book, how do you decide on pricing, that this will be the right price point for your consumer to buy your product digitally? And a follow-up question to it would be, whom do you consider as a direct competition, indirect competition, substitute? Because now, when you look at the entire, range of brands that exist, but back then when you would have started, you would have looked at your product, what is available to you, and then you read the external market also to see that, what kind of brands fall in the competition category. So we would like to talk about pricing and competition.
Yeah, you've put me in a spot again, and you've, I'm not an MBA. So
yeah, that's why this question to you.
Whatever I will say will be basis a synthesis of what I've seen around me, read, experienced. So I think largely price is what somebody is willing to pay for
Correct.
something, right?
Correct.
It's just basically that. And then when there are multiple products out there, then it kind of, the price usually converges onto a median mid-mode type of a value, and from there, positioning arises, which is price based. Then you can take a conscious call whether you want to be around the, the, what do you call, where all the pricing is crowding for the whole
Correct.
market, or you want to be on the tails, right, and be more expensive or cheaper, right? That's one way to think about pricing. But eventually in brands, right, I personally believe that there's no point creating a brand if you can't charge somebody a little bit extra. What's the point? Itni mehnat kyun karni hai fir yaar? Let's just trade cement and commodities, right? I mean, the whole point of building a brand is that you're able to charge somebody something extra.
Right.
Now, how much extra, you will figure it out. You will try a few price points and see what happens. I remember what my sister did, right? So my sister is a Wharton MBA, right? Unlike me.
Okay.
And in the middle, she wanted to start something. I remember many years ago, she had come down to India. It was some competition, some startup competition she took part in.
Right.
And her concept was this, renting clothes and all. So I remember she did something very fascinating. So she, in the entire family and friends circle that she had, she asked people for their wedding outfits or expensive clothes that anybody had in their wardrobes. She borrowed them. She convinced DLF somehow to give her some space in one of their malls on a busy Sunday. For a couple of days, and then she would display those clothes as if they were new, and she would keep changing the pricing on those clothes every hour, and ask people if they were to buy them, and she recorded all that data. So now, because she's an MBA, she's done it in a very nice way, as you can see. But so if somebody had to figure out pricing today, it's essentially, the first principles there would be that essentially it is what something is willing to somebody is willing to pay something for, an item. What becomes challenging is that the context in which that product is going to be sold then starts dictating price. So for example, if you want to scale something on Flipkart, there is a certain pricing strategy that you will have to follow to scale your product. You want to do it on Amazon, there's a certain, it does want a little bit of discounting there.
Correct.
If you're on your D2C, right, then the dynamics change. So actually channel really decides also pricing in a lot of ways. If you are able to defy this logic, then you know that you're building something of value. If you're able to command a high price on the same channel where others are not able to, that is the magic. I would want to really understand why that is happening. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Normally, if you see, people are able to do that over a period of time, right? That's why a Rolex sells for, whatever it sells at. Takes time to build that equity around the brand. I don't know if I've been able to answer your question at all or not.
No, fair, very fair explanation. So, if I could just ask you that, how many years did it take you to say call that now Just Herbs is a brand? From say 2014 to...
Yeah, there was... Again, lovely question, but the answer is very messy, right? Because till today, till today, I meet people. I built a company from zero. I just sold it recently, right? And I meet some people at parties and then they've never heard of the brand. And it feels bad. But then I think to myself, who was that cricketer who even married a girl just because she didn't know who he was? Who was this? Dhoni? Or I think I think it was Dhoni, right? I think Dhoni married his wife, and there's a scene in the movie where she doesn't know who she is, right? So I think it's just about audiences, right? And I think that what I was trying to tell my own self was that I'm happy that you're a guy and you haven't heard of this, because I'm happy that our marketing spend was very efficient, because the wife knows, the sister knows, you know what I'm saying? So this is one part of it. Your question was, how do you know when you've become a brand?
Yeah.
So these are things which will tell you that maybe we've not become a brand, but then you have to also see that in today's world, making a brand for everybody is a recipe for disaster. So if you mean something to somebody, that's better than being everything to everyone, right?
Right.
For most categories.
Correct.
Right. And how do you see that you're becoming a brand is many ways. So this was one way. This is more like qualitative. When you sort of go to the dentist and you tell them what they do and they've heard of it, right? Which happened to me, by the way. My dad told me that I went to the dentist and I said this is what you do, and she knew about it.
Okay.
Things like that. But the data around it is the retention, right? And you basically, when you're customer acquisition, you're acquiring newer customers, and your retention is also increasing. To me, that is the brand.
Great.
So I think in big companies, the one metric that they track is the brand able to recruit new customers. I think for me, especially in beauty, retention is super duper important. Repeat rate,
Absolutely.
super important. That tells me if it's a brand or not. Both have to happen, right?
Great.
So you can't just keep surviving on retention, and you can't keep surviving on acquisition. I think both have to go hand in hand. So ideally, what will happen is that your, like, if you make a stack chart, like your retention is also growing. Your like repeat customers are also growing, and your new customers are also growing. That's the ideal business. That's the ideal brand, in my opinion. No, but now there may be some certain categories where people don't repeat that much. How do you know when a brand has been built in a quantitative way? Is things like, a brand track study, etc. They're not fully accurate, but they're quite indicative. At least you can compare things.
Got it. And in
how I got to know, but was mainly qualitative and a bit of data.
Right. And putting things into today's landscape, do you think for retention it is better to expand categories, or it is important to stick to your basics and be more qualitative in your offering within the same segment?
Yeah, I think there is no one size fits all, right? I think a lot of people make this mistake. They listen to some gyan and they apply it to yourself. I think you really need to think about it. So for example, if I'm selling makeup, right, my retention will improve if I improve my product offering.
Correct.
I can't have, if I want to be a makeup brand, I'll need to sell a full face of makeup for people to come back.
Also because the lipsticks shelf life is 2 years, 2.5 years. I'm not sure, but
not only that, I'm saying you want to buy things which go well with each other, right? So for example, I've bought a foundation. Now I've seen a picture where the lipstick looks best with a certain skin tone. So I want both those products, so there's a chance for upselling. There's a chance for, people repeating more in certain use cases. Now, another use case would be, for example, luggage is completely the opposite, right? I don't know how will people repeat in that, or a mattress, for example. So it totally depends.
Right.
It's like there's a bit of I would say a network effect, some sort of a trait of a network effect built into certain categories, that the more you add an assortment, the more people get invested in the brand and locked into it. Think Amazon, for example. Amazon is also addictive because of the assortment.
Right. So in your case, shifting or expanding from skincare to also makeup changed the game for you?
Yeah, it did. Yes, it was quite a contrarian thing to do then also. But again, first principles thinking helped us a little. I think there were two sort of crossroads ahead of us. One was that let's stick to what we do, stay within your lane. Skincare itself is a big market. A lot of things have to be done there. I just looked at the data. I looked at, I remember one example of a hair mask. We had just launched a hair mask. And my guy, and I told my guys, I'm like, how much money have you burnt on Amazon ads to get this going? And they're like, Arush, look at the CPMs. They just showed me that, like, look at the CPMs in this category. It's insane. I said, okay, then let's look at where are the CPMs less. And we saw we could compare things, right? But that's not the only way we took that decision. On the other hand, our customers are telling us, you are doing all this skincare, hair care, you do. Why don't you do makeup, right? Because there is nothing that we can use which we can feel confident about in the same way as we think when we buy skincare from you. It's very simple, right? But the whole trade, and when you look around you, you will never think like this, because the whole trade is organized in a very different way. You go to a Nykaa, there's a separate category manager for makeup, separate for skincare, right? You go to the general trade, retail, there is separate margin structure for this category, which is skincare, and the separate margin structure for makeup.
Correct.
But the customer doesn't think like that.
Correct.
The customer is like, yaar, main tumhara face wash use kar rahi hu, yaar, kajal bhi bana do, yaar. You know what I'm saying? Plus, we are seeing that, there is a more better right to win in this category, because even till today, I don't think anybody has been able to crack clean, natural makeup very well. There have been people before us who've done that, but I believe we could do a slightly better job than them, because we learned from their experiences and we heard our customers well. So, and that did change the game for us. Yes.
And I'm sure that would also have been one of the indicators of you've built the brand when you see acceptance of newer categories
Of
being
course.
launched. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Great, great. I would like to, talk about the leadership of Just Herbs also.
Yeah.
It's a rare combination of a son, wife, and a mother-in-law, sort of a, setup. So how did you distribute the roles and responsibilities, and how did you make sure that, the business is not impacted, nor the, personal relationships?
So I think it was messy in the start. You're working with people who are your family, people who you love, and who you disagree with also on a daily basis. So it's hard. So it takes time to kind of compartmentalize in your mind that this argument that I just had is not because of, they don't have any malice. It is because of work. So you have to separate the two. Takes a little bit of time, but it's easily doable. Once you've done that, the benefits of working with your family outstrip the drawbacks. Then what you need to do is you need to make sure that you still run the show like a professional, right? In a very professionalized way.
Right.
How do you do that? Your books are audited. You hire the best auditors. You don't compromise on anything to do with corporate governance. And once you've done this, the benefits, there's only benefits. Because the biggest thing in a team that you need is trust.
Absolutely.
Without that, nothing happens. We were just talking about it, right? And that is why it is such a rare commodity. And I was telling you, the best use of money is to check if you can trust somebody or not.
Correct.
Here, you don't need to, right? Because
yes, at least the trust is in place, and you're sure that no matter what, this will be in place always.
Right. And then the question becomes, okay, you trust them, but do they have the skills? In my case, they did. Just Herbs is a product-led company, right? I wouldn't have done this at all if it wasn't for my mother. I believed in the product, which is what I came. So I had product. I hadn't run a business in my life. I don't come from a business family. Megha did. So she brings that whole... I think Megha has always been the voice of sanity in the business, right? She is the logical left brain. Right, I'm more of the sort of
okay, you're the aggressive one.
I'm like aggressive one, and also not aggressive is probably not the right word. My action was like that, but the more work with emotion kind of guy, right? Build with heart, as you say.
Okay.
I would like to believe that. And she is like the voice of sanity to put a check around things.
Correct.
Even my mother is, she's. I think somebody asked her, so what did you do in the business? It's like business and all. I don't know what business. I just make the product. For that you can. So by the end, it was very well defined what we do.
Okay.
We didn't even work from the same place. It was sorted. So a lot of people have this question. I think family-led businesses can build great brands. Yeah, if you look at all the great brands on the planet, even luxury brands, for example, most of them are family-owned. Right? Think about it at across all levels.
And today we see more of it: husband, wives, brothers, sisters, siblings.
There you go.
Right.
Because the reason to believe is very strong in family-owned brands, right? So I mean, the moment you tell somebody, this was made in a factory. I just, I just paid some money to a contract manufacturer, got it made, put my label, and I'm selling it to you, and it has whatever XYZ actives. That's one thing. But if I say, my mom, she studied in Punjab University, and then when she came home, there was, her Sangeet was happening, and that's a true story. It's not a made up story. Nobody can take that away from you because that is your story. It's a very strong reason to believe. It's a very authentic story. It's not made up authenticity.
Right.
And when your family is doing this together, there will inevitably be some stories out there which then impact and leave a thing on the brand. So I'm not saying you start convincing your family to start a business, but I'm saying if you have started something with your family, own it like a badge of honor. Don't be apologetic about it, no matter what an investor will tell you.
And in an opposite situation, say for example, if somebody is not lucky enough to have a family running the show in a startup ecosystem, what should somebody be looking at while choosing a co-founder?
I think the same thing that you should be looking for while choosing a family member as a co-founder.
Okay.
What I just told you, same things. The same things apply. If you can find them within your family, I would say you are lucky. If not, the things remain the same. You need people who you can trust. I mean, it's like, trust is like the glue, right? It makes the world run, makes money flow, armies can kill each other, get killed for one another because there's trust, right? I mean, and
Got it.
Super
Right.
important.
Right. What was your initial team was looking like?
Initial team is basically young, enthusiastic people. We were building from Chandigarh, where even today finding good talent is not easy. It was much more difficult when we started it, right? So what we did was, leaving aside the very specific roles, like which needs very specific skill, but there are several other roles which are sort of important but not very technical. For example, customer support, right? For example, a graphic designer, etc. For that, we looked at allied industries as well. So for example, if somebody has worked in a bank where he faced a lot of angry customers, right? Can we bring him in and do customer support here? So you have to be a little forgiving to the CV. You can't say that, oh, I really want like relevant experience and all. I think in the 0 to 1 crore journey, you have to think like that.
Right.
Then in the 1 to 10 crore journey, the same people you've hired, whoever survived, you basically give them more responsibility and you hone them a little. And then 10 crores and above, you start bringing in senior talent, which I did much later in my journey. But I now one thing, if I had to say, I could have done it, like brought some senior people in much earlier.
Okay. Okay. All right. And in marketing, there are a lot of situations when you have to take a decision between build or buy, right? How do you decide on whether you should, give enough resources, time, energy to build something in house, or it is a good decision to from industry where the solution is already existing?
This answer can also be given in a finance way, right? And which I think is the right way for most founders to think, right? So build versus buy. So if you buy something, then that is an asset on your balance sheet, which will get depreciated, versus buying a service from somebody is going to sit on your P&L. I think that can answer this question most of the times.
Got it.
And in other times when this also doesn't resolve it, then you think, okay, how much time is this going to take for me to build it? Could I be doing something else? The opportunity cost of building it, as they call it.
Right. Right.
So these are the two frameworks I would use for this decision.
Right. Okay. And initially, you used only Meta and Google as your primary acquisition channels. Today, there are many more channels that exist. How do you solve for incrementality? Because this is one question that majority of the brand faces, especially in skincare.
What do you mean?
Which means that now CPMs are at a certain level, right? Meta and Google are giving certain kind of results to most of the brands. But now if they want to scale from, say, 5 million to 10 million in terms of ad spend, how do you look at incremental channel, like somebody who's doing YouTube or any other channel for that
So
matter?
I think I have a problem with the way your industry talks about scale. They measure scale in terms of scaling marketing spend. I talk about scale in descaling marketing spend and increasing top line. I think so. I think there's a fundamental difference in the way we are both defining scale here.
Okay. I mean, okay. Let's say revenue. You're at a certain revenue, certain scale. In terms
For
of
me, a good business is sales are rising, acquisition costs are dropping. That's the ideal business anybody should be wanting to
Any
create.
channel in your D2C that worked other than Meta and Google for you?
Yeah, we did use Google Pay coupons, which really worked well for us in some time. And no channel survives a very long time. You have to keep finding newer channels. And I think you need to diversify your channel mix also. There is one way to look at it is that I will first max out one channel and move to the other. I think there is merit in that. But then being able to figure out, take a call when, okay, now this channel is maxed out, not taking it prematurely, but having a good view around it and then moving on to the next one is also equally important.
Right. Great.
Yeah.
Okay. And when did you start quick commerce in your journey? Quick commerce or, marketplaces?
Quick commerce, we were a little late to the party. I think we were on Blinkit first, and then, Swiggy and Instamart happened a little later.
Okay.
That was the time when I was actually exiting the company.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Is creating miniatures a good strategy for quick commerce?
No, absolutely. Again, I'm risking being called a some Gyani Baba, but the fact is this, right? But it is again first principles, right? Creating miniatures is happening all around us and it's working for everyone.
Right.
Whether you're an ice cream seller trying to make people taste an ice cream before buying it, whether you're selling cakes, giving them a small slice, whether you're a SaaS company doing, a freemium model, what exactly are you doing? You're basically making somebody taste something where the stakes are really low, and you give them a silly offer to try it. Netflix does it. Like, if you just really notice around you, this is basically what people are doing, right? Beauty has been doing it for ages, right? Estee Lauder. I think I was listening to some podcast about Estee Lauder, and she wasn't getting she was meeting a category manager of that day at Harrods or something, and they weren't entertaining her, and she broke a bottle of perfume by accident. I don't know if it is an accident or not, but then the fragrance of it attracted them. So you have to make people taste the product. So no matter what you're doing, just try to figure out if there is a small fragment of the product that can be broken down and sold at a really, really silly price point, so that somebody can try it and then come back.
Got it. And have you also experienced that quick commerce played as an acquisition channel, and then for repeat purchase, customers generally come on your D2C website?
Not really. I didn't have enough time or data to. I wasn't in the company for that long to see. Quick commerce started very late. But I think your question really alludes to the fact that people shop between channels, right? Yes, that is very, very real. That is a very real thing.
Okay. Okay. And I'm sure AOVs are also very different when a consumer is coming on your website.
AOVs are different. Product mixes are different across channels. For few products, like for us, our lipstick kit was a bestseller across. So there are those products which do well everywhere. You find those hits sometimes, but largely even product mixes are different, right? I mean, India is a diverse place, and all the platforms available to D2C brands also cater to different audiences within those segments.
Got it. And your product was majorly focused on Ayurvedic solutions for makeup and skincare. Then there were multiple other trends that existed over the last 3-4 years. Now we have Korean glass skin and rice used as a main ingredient. There was onion, there were some dermat suggested ingredients also. Do you think there is still more to come in skincare as an industry?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So which is that area where you think that brands can look at innovating something or reinventing something?
I don't have an answer like that, because I think I'm also a student of this industry. A lot of founders are doing exciting things. I keep something or the other keeps coming into my DMs every other day.
Correct.
I don't have a very specific use case in mind.
But anything from your first principle?
My first principle thinking here would be that beauty is a basic human need, right? It is not a winner takes all market. So please don't be surprised when you hear another brand has suddenly scaled up. But this is not an Ola Uber. This is not a Coke Pepsi.
Correct.
Multiple brands. That's why it's called personal care, because it's very personal.
Right.
It may have worked for you. It may not be working for me. But especially products for women, like when you're talking about women, I'm borrowing from a podcast I was hearing, Mr. Sanjeev Juneja, where he said, the guy who made Kesh King from our city. He said something very interesting, which I totally believe in. He said, when you're talking to women, right, their egos are much lesser than men. So they're much more forgiving, and they're much more, it's much more easier for them to try out new things.
They also refer more.
I mean, two guys sitting together are not going to be talking about the shampoo that they use, right?
Correct,
I mean, till now it hasn't happened. Maybe it will happen, but with women, it's much more easier, right? So multiple brands can be created there, in my opinion. The problem with me is, which we talked about earlier, is what I really think about is the channel, right? They say like, well, first time founders think about product, second time founders think about distribution. That's exactly what is happening to me.
Right.
I'm thinking more of channel now. There is absolutely zero problem with demand.
Okay.
There are buyers for good products. There always will be in beauty, and there will always be problems to solve.
Right. And particularly in your industries, there can be two approaches to scale a business. One is that you solve for acquisition first and profitability later. Another is that you go profitability first, take care of your finances, economics, and then solve for scale. While there's no right or wrong, but what is your approach on it?
I'm in the second camp.
Okay.
I didn't have funding for 6 years. I ran it as a bootstrapped company.
Right.
This LTV was like, I had heard of the term, but LTV was a bonus. You have to make money on the first transaction, as simple as that. And your CAC has to fall.
And एक दो चीजें in retrospect, if you could say that, yeah, this was a mistake.
Yeah.
Anything?
No, nothing like that.
Okay.
Because it was the right, whatever. See, your decision is a sum total of the human being you are at a given point in time.
Correct.
And
Right.
जो उस time पे जो पत्ते पड़े हैं उससे आपने खेलना है, right? आप मुझसे ये बोल सकते हो कि the brand that got created उसको हिलाने के लिए what somebody else will have to do. I can tell you that's the culmination of all the decisions that I took. Never going to question a decision which we've taken in the past. Never.
Okay. So it was everything was a learning.
Everything is learning, yeah. And my only thing is everything is a learning as long as you don't make the same mistake twice. That's it. When that is happening, then you should like be a little harsh on yourself.
Got it. Any skincare brand that you admire from a marketing
I've started
perspective?
using different brands now, yeah, because when I was building Just Herbs, I only used Just Herbs. And
you were
now
all
I'm
passionate and focused about it.
Passionate and focused about it. I still use my own products in terms of my shampoos. I still use them. I really wish we should have our shampoos didn't get the due that they deserved. I think they're wonderful formulas that my mom had created. I still use them. But other skincare brands that I admire, I've actually started using some soaps from some FMCG companies, right? Which I liked. I was in Goa recently, so I ordered something from Blinkit. I quite liked it, yeah.
Okay. And from marketing perspective, anybody who's doing great marketing according to you?
So many of them, yeah. Marketers, I mean, the level of marketing is just getting better and better every day, and so nice to see that actually.
You also did a lot of influencer campaigns, celebrity campaigns. I mean, this is one question that we ask a lot of founders, but the problem still exists that with a limited amount of money, say you have a crore and you want to do either you can only do either of them, right? What should be the right approach? Provided that the problem is acquisition, scaling D2C.
So let's say you have 1 crore rupees to spend. The idea is to acquire customers.
Right.
This is the only problem statement.
Through D2C.
So on one end, and you own a shop. Let's not even call it a website for now. Let's think we're living in the pre-internet era, right? The best way to would say is कि यार हम 1 crore रुपए का माल मुफ्त में बांट रहे हैं basically. Just write that around your shop. Wouldn't that be the best way?
Yeah, we will not get probably long-term customers, but you'll
why not? If your product is good, you might just right. The next way would be to say that I'm putting a discount, that it's a 50% off or a steep discount. It's a 70-80% off, whatever covers my cost. Then you start reducing the discount, right? And then the final thing is that there is no discount, right? And I am now going to create brand. And you will come buy me because everybody around you is using it. Or you will come buy me because people of a certain kind use it and you want to identify with that. This is the spectrum of the options available. Your question exactly was this.
Yeah, so if you have limited amount, either say influencers.
Yeah, these are the options available to you. अब आप देख लो आपने क्या करना है इसमें से. तो अगर आपने आपको premium brand आप बोल रहे हैं and you're not able to do what I just described at the end, there is something which is not working somewhere. And I'm not saying I've been great at it, but I've been aware of it. I knew what needed to happen when. That much credit I will give myself and my team. Whether we were able to do it or not is a different story, but at least know the state of play, what it is right now.
And for a premium category brand, what can be the right approach on discounting? Because discounting can sometimes be suicidal also. Yeah,
I'm not a fan of discounting here. I think I started discounting in the 7th or 8th year of my 7th year of my business, when we really had to pull the plug, like push the pedal on marketplaces. That's when my learning from this whole thing is that the channel really dictates the product in certain cases.
So you followed
but
channel level?
But if the product is solid, sometimes the product, like in the lipstick sampler kit, we didn't give it to anybody for a very long time, right? And it used to sell without a discount. Sometimes that happens also. Most of the time the product is captive to the channel. You look at the music industry. I just posted about it on LinkedIn, right? I mean, I listen to vinyls now, right? There's hardly any music that can fit into it because the channel could not accommodate longer songs. So the songs by the Beatles, etc., are shorter length. Coming to the 90s, when the cassette came, Guns N' Roses, etc., had longer songs, and most of them were useless.
Right.
In the cassette, there were just 2-3 good songs.
Right.
But उसमें घुसाने पड़े because channel अब cassette बन चुका है. फिर MP3 आया, उसमें एक song download हो जाता है. So think about, so it's everywhere, right, around you. That the channel is going to dictate the product. But on those rare occasions, you create a breakout product which just surpasses the channel, and you become, and then the channel wants you. That's where I think every brand needs to focus on.
And do you think a channel level discounting strategy directly or indirectly impact another channel?
Theoretically very good to do, very hard to implement. Very, very hard to implement.
Okay, so you followed brand level discounting as the product.
Any founder listening to it, I think this is the pet peeve here. People calling you, sir, वहाँ पे इतना चल रहा है, वहाँ पे इतना चल रहा है. Some people find ways around it कि यहाँ पे 100 ml है, वहाँ पे 200 ml है, all that. Try all that, but better is to keep parity everywhere. It's just good for the brand's health.
Got it. So Arush, you've built a company out of Mohali. Today, I see a lot of great products, a lot of great founders coming from tier 2, tier 3 cities. In your experience, what were the pros and cons of building a business out of, say, a city like Mohali?
What do you want first, cons or the pros?
Let's start with good things.
I think the cons everybody would know, right?
Let's talk about great things then.
What are the pros? Like Chandigarh has the lake. No, I mean, no. Let me tell you the pros. There are 2 types of kids in school after an exam. There are kids who come out of the exam and like, अरे तेरा ये भी गलत हो गया, अरे तेरा वो भी गलत हो गया, इसमें भी तूने 10 marks lose कर दिए. And there are kids who like question paper पीछे and chill, right? हो गया exam खत्म. There is no pressure. You are just working for yourself.
Right.
Competing with yourself. That's what a tier 2 city allows you. There are no events happening here. You are not meeting any other founders. You're not feeling the FOMO. Although social media now kind of catches you everywhere.
Correct.
But I've had a hack for that also. But mostly this is the biggest benefit. Even after the exit, it's very easy to fall into this whole trap of like, ego. जो कहते हैं ना कि आ ही जाती है.
करेक्ट.
आपकी पॉडकास्ट पे आके भी मेरे अंदर आ जाती है. So I have to be aware कि नहीं आनी चाहिए. You know what I'm saying? क्योंकि मैं इंसान तो वही सेम हूँ, right? Right. तो tier 2 में होने का भी उसमें बहुत फर्क है. Like there are 2 types of people I have met after my exit. The first type is, and really respect them. They have told me that I am some superhuman because I've achieved what many people can't. Have an exit and walk away with a decent amount of capital as well as a peace of mind and all that. And I should be celebrated, and it is so rare to get an exit. Look at most of the invested companies, blah blah blah. वो बड़े शहरों वाले हैं लोग. चंडीगढ़ के अंदर मैं किसी पार्टी पे जाता हूँ, वो यार कंपनी बेच दी. सॉरी यार, बहुत बुरा लगा सुन के. कंपनी कौन बेचता है यार, मैं तो कभी ना बेचूं. Now the point is, I can get angry about it, but the point is, this is actually a reality. This is the reality of change in perspective. Like for these guys, running a business is a generational thing. It gives you money for perpetuity. Not having a profitable business is like nonsense. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To be able to get different perspectives, not being not getting lost in the noise, not being a part of the bhed chal that's happening everywhere. To be able to break away from the herd. This is what tier 2 and tier 3, to build something more intentionally.
Correct.
Right. It's possible in tier 2, and I think it's unsustainable that everything should be built in the Gurgaon, Bombay, and Bangalore. The cities are already bursting at their seams. The quality of life is really suffering. I think and the government is also with you. I mean, I love meeting people from I am Punjab here who are doing a fab job, trying to do something here. Everybody's heart is in the right place. Right? Is it going to be a cakewalk? No. Building a business is hard anywhere on the planet. I mean, you can go do it anywhere, right? But it's not that कि यहाँ से हो नहीं सकता. ऐसा नहीं है. हो रहा है और होता रहेगा और भी होगा.
And when you build a team out of, say, Mohali or anywhere for that matter, how do you make sure that your team retains with you? How do you, keep them up in terms of spirit and
be
involved?
Nice to them, yaar.
Yeah. Okay.
You be an a-hole to your people, they're not going to stay here. It's as simple as that. Money is a motivator for people and all.
Right.
See, that you can't solve for. I mean, if you're able to give and somebody leaves you because they're getting a better pay. But if you're being a nasty person to them, they're going to screw up in the notice period. They'll like make sure they mess things up. They will not do a proper handover and all. The net benefit of being a nice person is
everywhere actually.
The net benefit is actually really, it's really I think it's worth it to be a nice person. It doesn't really take much. You have to really say that, okay, I'm not some, and this is where I think the bigger cities do a better job. Right? We call it the Google culture and all. I think I'm not talking about sitting on beanbags all day, but at least not being also a Lalaji or a Sethji who just thinks that it is beneath me to sit with my team and work. So I think if tier 2 can also learn something from that culture, I think it is just better on the whole.
So Arush, let's talk a little bit about data also. When a business is started, say for initial 1 year, you take a lot of decisions on instinct, right? Once you collect some data becomes a core fundamental of taking certain decisions. So would you like to talk about certain instances where data really helped you take right decisions, and what kind of problems were those?
I think once you started something based on instinct, to sustain that and to grow it, there is no other way but to use data.
Right.
I think instinct and emotion and all is like critical. I think people who say you should not have emotion and all, I don't know what they're talking about, right? I mean, starting up is about acting on emotion.
Right,
Otherwise, why would
right.
you do something so difficult, right?
Correct,
So you
correct.
have to be using emotions, but you have to calibrate your judgment. You will always need data.
Right.
You may not be sure of something ever. Nothing is 100% sure. But saying that something has a 50% chance because mujhko aisa lagta hai also doesn't help anybody. So saying what are the odds of it happening versus 60% versus 40% is better than saying 50-50. If you know what I'm saying.
Correct.
That's
Correct.
called calibration.
Correct.
So that 10% of accuracy that you've built into the system is a result of having a data-led mindset in the organization.
Right. Right.
I think it starts with telling people to stop talking in English, telling people to stop telling you कि मुझे क्या लगता है. So for example, if you're trying to kill an SKU and your offline team comes and tell you, and this invariably will happen. कि sir ये मत बेचो, ये बिकता है. That's a मतलब, I was speaking to some founder and he said very interesting. Like फिर तो चप्पल आनी चाहिए. मतलब people might call it toxic, but I think please understand the bhavna behind it,
Right.
and not the
Right.
and
Right.
not necessary. But it should be you should be rewarding people to talk with data.
Correct. Correct.
Right? This product should not be discontinued because in the last 6 months we have sold X amount of units on it.
Right.
This is how it has grown.
Right.
That's a much better way to convince somebody to do something within the organization, and it's rooted in logic also. Then you can reject it and say, no, I will go with my gut. Then at least you know what decision you are taking.
Right.
So at a very fundamental level, this is why you need data. The second thing is that you need that data on time. Right? So an MIS of a company is already a lagging indicator. A balance sheet is even more of a lagging indicator because it's a snapshot in time of what happened in the previous year in the business. It is telling me nothing. I would say even market share is a lagging indicator. If I'm investing in a company which has 80% market share, that's already history. I don't know what's going to happen to it tomorrow.
Correct. Correct.
Somebody who would have invested in, Kodak, which did cameras, or in BlackBerry, the phone company, right? I mean, so you need to have data coming to you at the right time so that it is forward-looking. It's not a lagging indicator. So the systems, processes of how that data is getting collected, how it is flowing within the organization, who's taking ownership of it, all of that needs to be set up very, very well. What else? Yeah. And then finally, that data coming to you. In an ideal world, whenever there's an anomaly in that data, you should get alerted. Right? The thing about having those dashboards is not to look fancy. You have to understand what's happening in plain English. And then those decisions should get taken. One way to do it is that the founder basically takes all this responsibility on themselves, which is a very bad idea. I think the good idea is to build a culture of data across the organization, and then empower your sort of department heads or your or CXOs to talk in that language. Yeah.
No, you're right. And we also, take 100% of our decisions looking at, data.
Yeah.
And that really helps. Coming to the last part of our conversation, Arush, I would like to talk a little bit about, the acquisition and life post the acquisition. So according to you, what led you get that call from Marico that, they want to, acquire Just Herbs? What do you think? What's in your mind that why did they choose Just Herbs?
I don't know, man. This is something they can answer better. But I think what I have heard a few times is that I think we were building the company with a lot of intention and a lot of heart. We did it, over a period of time. So the brand trust, etc., compounded well. Also, I think we built it very mindfully of the P&L. I think compared to the industry that we operate and the amount of capital that we've actually used to build the business to the scale that we built it to, we'd like to believe it's among the top in terms of capital efficiency.
Got it.
I think basically these things. Yeah. I don't know how to say good things about myself.
Oh, you're being humble in that case. Okay. And how is life now?
Life is good. I feel like a kid after class 12 who knows he has to go to a new college, but what stream, where, I don't know yet. So it's exciting. It's got that little bit of excitement because of the uncertainty around it, but also a good feeling to be in control of your own time. I became a father recently, so I'm able to spend time with my daughter. That is the most fulfilling part of this at this point. Yeah.
Okay. Great. And we wish that Just Herbs grow at a pace that at which it was growing, and we wish you also all the best and looking forward to what you do next.
Thank you very much.
In
Thank
your
you.
entrepreneurial journey.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for spending time with us, Arush. It was lovely talking to you.
Likewise.
And let's stay connected.
Sure. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.